Hi, and welcome to Happy Fisherman Adventures, episode 50.
I hope, I dream, I wish to catch a big fish, and I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman, and I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman.
Alright, today is our last episode for the year, and we are not going to be talking much because we have lots of footage to show you.
The footage actually is from 3rd, 4th and 5th December, so
That's
just
right.
current footage. And first video is actually with our friend Lenny at work at Geelong Marine World. Actually, we put the new engine on, so we had to do a water test, and then we done some
Fishing.
It is 3rd of December 2022 and we're leaving Point Richards Ramp with Lenny, our friend and mechanic from Geelong Marine World, to test our new Suzuki engine that we just got installed. This water test was mainly testing the prop and to make sure that it's the right size for this Whitley SL22. Then we gave it a bit of a run. Everything was smooth and impressive. The 150 horsepower I had originally, it was a great engine, but just a little bit underpowered for this boat. So this Suzuki now 200 feels much smoother. So after about 20 minutes of testing, it was enough. So it was time to fish. Our first stop was between Port Ellington and Clifton Springs, and as we got there, it started. Lenny was on our first squid in less than 2 minutes. Well, the banana jig does it again. If you take a closer look, the green and yellow color actually did most of the damage. As the sun was touching the horizon, we just kept getting squid after squid. Small grass patches in this area actually produced quite a bit of squid for us in the last couple of weeks. The clinch rattle and the clinch flash white in a green and yellow color actually did most of the damage in all our sessions. But later on things will change, so just pay attention. Deck wash, it's a must. If you leave the ink to dry off, it's a nightmare to wash it off later. As you see, we keep bringing them left, right and center. All this action as the sun is touching the horizon. Most of them were average size, but some of them were quite big too. I can say that the weather was perfect and we had a nice and slow drift. Mima was filming all this time, but she managed to land few as well. Then this happened. As it got dark, the pink jig somehow started to work like crazy. This bright pink jig took Mima's attention the other day in the shop, so we bought it and have a look now. This pink jig's performance was just amazing. Here Lenny's gonna give you a closer look of this pink jig. Just a solid pink color and yeah, it's got green eyes, that's it. And again, the darker it got, the better the pink jig performed. Well, it wouldn't be a successful squid session if someone didn't cop the ink in his face, and this time that was me. Then we made a quick decision to go to the old channel and try for some snapper. As we got there, we could see some activities on Sianda, and that was promising. In no time, pinkies were on. We had fun catching pinkies on light rods, but we were hoping for something bigger. Then, around 9:30 p.m, on a light 2 to 4 kilo rod, loaded with Reddy's King George whiting paternoster rig, we had a nice fish. The other rods went off as well in meantime, so we had to do some teamwork here. And in no time we actually managed to land this about 2 kilo, I would say, fish, and made this actually adventure quite successful. Well, Lenny was happy just to be on the water. Catching fish was a bonus.
Bloody on the ready side. Reddy's.
In the next video is the adventure with Thomas and little Luca.
Actually, I promised Thomas for a long time that we'll take little Luca, who actually loves our TV show. I promised him I'm going to get snapper, but unfortunately we didn't. But we got some King George whiting, bit of squid, and Luca got a really nice flathead.
After a few cancellations because of the weather, my promise to little Luca became a reality. This adventure was with Luca and his dad Thomas, and the mission was to get some snapper. We left Werribee just after lunchtime and we went straight to the wreck. As we got there, we couldn't scan anything, but we had a fish on. Little Luca was in a bottle with a nice flathead. I was impressed the way he handled the fish, and more impressed about the knowledge he had. He knew the legal size for most of the fish and the bag limit also. We managed to land his flathead, which was just over 50 centimeters, and Luca was happy. Here we also managed few undersized pinkies, but no keepers at all. Catch and release, that didn't matter. Luca had fun. On the screen, still nothing to show, so we stayed a little bit longer, got a few more pinkies for fun, and then we made a decision that we need to go and try and get some squid and King George whiting. In the meantime, I drove all the way up to the wreck so I can show Luca how the wreck looks on my Simrad sounder. Well, the next stop was my mark between Port Ellington and Clifton Springs. As we got there, Thomas was on our first squid. This one took again the banana color Shimano clinch jig. On the other side of the boat, Luca was on another squid. This time the squid took the solid black Yamashita jig. This squid was not very big, but that didn't matter, Luca was happy. We did get a few more, but in meantime I had a soft plastic that was dragging along with us and something was hitting it. So I decided to anchor and try for some King George whiting. No long after, we had our first fish on the boat. Again, I was very impressed how Luca knew everything about King George whiting. He got quite few and he was very, very happy. All the King George whiting we got today was on Reddy's Tinganosta rig loaded with a cocktail of squid and pippies. It was very nice to see how father and son interact, and the way little Luca was holding the rod and bringing the fish in, smiling all the time, just priceless. In no time we had quite few fish, so the next mission was to try for half an hour to get some snapper at Old Channel. Again, Luca was having fun with pinkies, but there was no keepers at all. As they had to be home by 6 p.m. for a dinner party, we left Port Allington, and that was the end of our adventure.
How many fish did you catch?
12.
12?
Whoa!
Including squid.
And you got squid as well? And who caught the biggest fish? That's my problem. You did?
The next video is from 5th of December and we were with our friends Misha and Susie.
Also, Michael and Emma.
That's right. And beside fishing, because it was such a beautiful day, we decided to go for a swim. This adventure started with pastricis in the oven. This time with us we had our friends Misha and Susie. And our mission was to start scanning around spoiled grounds to see if any snapper is in the area. It was a really nice hot summer day, so we were ready to start this adventure. On the way to spoiled grounds we had a bit of a bumpy ride, but the boat handled it with ease. We had a quick look, but we could not spot any activities, so TB made a decision to go back to Port Allington for some King George whiting and squid, and after maybe go for a swim. As we got there, Susie said she will get the first squid, and what do you know? She did. This squid took the bright solid pink jig. Then we saw a nice sand patch and we decided to check if there is any King George whiting around here. First cast and I was on, and Misha followed up with another. In meantime, our friends Michael and Emma arrived and we got them to park next to us. In that moment, I got another one, and this one was a little bit bigger. Reedy's Tinganosta was again the preferred setup. Then it was fun time. We promised Michael and Emma that we are going to show them where we normally go for a swim in summer. This spot is straight in the shallows of Point Richard's boat ramp. On a high tide it's about 1.2 meters deep, but low tide here is under half a meter. The water here is always clear. So, off I go first, and then everyone else followed. We even have Chiquita swimming with us, and that did cool her down a bit as it was over 30 degrees outside. As you see, everyone had a great time cooling down a bit. It's amazing what our bay has to offer. Well, cheers to everyone and happy holidays to all. It was time to go back and start fishing.
Well, as you've seen, we had lots of fun. We caught some squid, we got some King George whiting, and the next move was to get some snapper.
Well, let's watch the next video. Well, we came back to our King George whiting spot and gave it another go. Again, in no time, action started. The whiting wasn't that big, so quite few had to go back. Then it was time to go to the old channel and give snapper another go. We gave the new Suzuki engine a bit of a workout, and I can say Tibi was happy. As we got to the channel, we marked few fish, so we stopped right there. We started catching quite few undersized pinkies, but it was not long before we had a screamer. This fish took Misho by surprise, so we quickly had to move everything out of the way. At that time, I was on another pinky. And here, something very unusual happened for Tibi. As he got the net, he seen that Misho gave this fish a bit of slack, and then the line got twisted around the rod tip. Tibi asked Misho to swap. Tibi got the rod to untangle the line quickly, and Misho took the netting duty. Quickly, everything worked out, and in no time, we've seen some color. This beautiful snapper took Reedy's scallop rig loaded with silver whiting head. Misho put the net in the water, and Tibi guided the fish straight in the net. It was celebration time. It's strange how this time we do get more bigger snapper on the paternoster rigs than the unweighted one. As the sun came down, it was time to end this adventure.
I don't know if this is a product of the week or a magic trick, but these torches, the hydrocell, they actually work on water. So before you use, nothing's going on, you dip it in the water, you keep it for like this one 5 seconds, I suppose, you know, and then shake it off. And let's have a look. It does, look, my lights are very strong, but you can see it's actually bright and working. Alright, this particular torch, it should be replacing your dolphin torch. This thing actually, it's activated by water, so works on water. Once you dip it in, you got 200 hours of use. So it does have cells, you can see them here, batteries. And once they get wet or moist, that's how they activate the battery. After 200 hours of use and all that stuff, you can actually just replace the batteries and off you go again. Yeah, deeper. So that one gets dipped in 15 seconds in the water.
How?
Just
straight down?
Just straight down. Can we fit it in the bucket? Yeah. So
Everything 15 seconds?
it's fully waterproof, it doesn't rust, it doesn't, yeah. So you can see it still dries the water, but that should be perfectly working. And actually pretty, we got strong lights in the studio here, but that works actually really, really good. Thank you for watching, and yes, before we go, if you're after some of these shirts, we still got them at Mick, Hooked on Bite and Tackle. We got them at Geelong Marine World. We got them on our actually website, happyfisherman.com.au. And yeah, thank you for your support.
And thank you for watching. Have a safe and happy holidays, and we will definitely see you next year.
We'll see you on the water.
I hope, I dream, I wish to catch a big fish, and I do